Hello, hello. What is up, world? It's Boxie Enigma here, almost a creature from the past at this point. It's been a little less than a month since I've done an update here, but rest assured there will be plenty of updates this week, as it is Wrestlemania season, the WWE's biggest show of the year, and your boy Boxie Enigma is Atlanta bound, baby. That's right. I will be going to Atlanta for Wrestlemania. It is the biggest show of the year. It is the one event, the one wrestling event that has eluded me. If you're looking for a short update, click next, because there's going to be a little bit of a long one. I'm going to go down through the Wrestlemania card. I'm going to give you my predictions, my Boxie breakdown of Wrestlemania, if you will. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Wrestlemania itself. It's the one event that has eluded me. I've been to every other type of show you could think of. Been to Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. I've been to King of the Ring, as evidenced on this page when I went to see Sheamus win it just this past, I think it was January. And honestly, I'm pumped out of my Miz, which is short for mind, for WrestleMania. It's the one event. I'm pretty overwhelmed. 65,000 people watching a 20x20 wrestling ring, to me, is absolutely insane. The fact that I'm going to get an opportunity to be there is bonkers. I don't use bonkers all the time, but it's the one event growing up and that I've always loved. I've always loved WrestleMania. I never actually thought that I'd be able to do it, but our flight is less than 4 hours away, so I'm going to jump right into the card, right into the whole weekend. I will be attending Access, Hall of Fame, WrestleMania, and Raw. Going to be crazy, but I'm pumped for it, and hopefully we'll be able to also shoot some videos while in Atlanta itself. Always fun to do a little bit of videos, on the flight, or in the airport, or in the hotel. With that being said, WrestleMania itself will emanate from Atlanta, Georgia. The Hall of Fame's the night before. Cannot wait to see Shawn Michaels go in. This is a Hall of Fame really for me in a way. A lot of people I grew up watching. LOD, who I had a chance to meet. I got a chance to meet the late great Hawk back in like 96 or 97, right before WrestleMania 13. Did not go to it, but I did get to meet the LOD. So it's kind of cool seeing 14 years later them go into the Hall of Fame. Shawn Michaels, I got to see his live event, his live return to SummerSlam 1992. Probably the best live show I've been to thus far, and absolutely great seeing him in his return match against Triple H live, and now seeing him come full circle. Probably the guy that I grew up watching the most, one of my favorites of all time. Shawn Michaels go into the WWE Hall of Fame. Being there is going to be awesome. Drew Carey, I always like Drew Carey. I got no problem with the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. I think that's kind of cool. You know, it gives you that mainstream attention. You don't get much for it, but it's cool though, because WrestleMania is about celebrities. It always has been. It's been built on celebrities, so I have no problem with the celebrity wing in the Hall of Fame. Sunny was probably the first crush I've had in my entire life, back when I was maybe 8 years old. It's kind of cool to see her go in the Hall of Fame. I think she's deserving. I think she's cleaned herself up a bit from what I hear, and that's great. And it'll be great to see her go in the Hall. As far as everything else, I think Bullet Barb Armstrong will be cool if you get to see Road Dogg return, because Road Dogg was a favorite of mine. Abdullah the Butcher, for hardcore fans, is great. Don't know too much of his work, but that's pretty rad to see him go in. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan. How do you not like Hacksaw Jim Duggan if you were a fan of the WWE growing up, with the 2x4 and the O and a bunch of stuff. So cool to see Hacksaw go in there. I hope he opens it, because I think he's a good for a good pop. And it'll be a fun thing to attend live, and you don't get to do that all the time. It only happens once, so that's pretty rad. As for WrestleMania itself, there were 9 matches this year. The only exceptions are Kofi Kingston and Drew McIntyre. I don't know if they'll be added on the show at all in any capacity. But those guys were a huge part of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I mean, Kofi fought El Rio. McIntyre was in a chamber, so it'll be interesting to see if they get a spot on the show, or get maybe added into that core match somehow. I feel like they should have just added them into the core match, maybe made it a 10-man, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, sorry. I guess you could always do a deal where one of those two wins the Battle Royal to start the show, which would probably be Kofi, because a face usually wins that pre-match Battle Royal to get the crowd excited. And I think if Kofi's in it, he's a shoo-in to win it. And I didn't mean to rhyme there. That was terrible. Moving on to the actual card, I believe they're going to start with Daniel Bryan and Sheamus. I think that's a good way to start, because Daniel Bryan, with his skill, usually gets the crowd ready. I feel like with his music and his overall personality, the crowd doesn't get too pumped when he comes out, except for me, who will probably be that one lone fan in the 65,000 chanting you're going to get your fucking head kicked in. And if you're in the Atlanta area, by all means, join in. With that being said, yeah, I do think Daniel Bryan, Sheamus has the potential to be a great match. I think if given a good 8-9 minutes, hopefully more, you don't want too much more, because there's a lot on Mania. I think it could be a fun match. They've had decent matches in the past. I do see Sheamus winning in here. I can't see them starting unless they want to get the crowd pumped to start off and give Daniel Bryan the win. But he isn't even a guy the crowd seems to really get that behind until he actually starts wrestling. So I think Sheamus takes that match. The core match against Big Show and them, I'm hoping Kozlov gets taken out and replaced by Kofi. If not, I mean, it's just a silly match. Big Show and Kane, kind of full circle there with Kane. Only a few months ago, the world champ, and now he's in this silly match here. Same with Wade Barrett. I don't think this match should be longer than 5-6 minutes. The faces should win this match, Team Big Show, and probably do a little silliness with dancing, and kind of similar to that Oddities versus Kaientai match, I think, from the SummerSlam 1998 pay-per-view. Yeah, kind of dating myself there a bit, but in any event, moving right along, I think next up, I could honestly see them going with Randy Orton and CM Punk. Kind of like get the crowd ready, here we go, it's a big match. And it seems that CM Punk's gotten the better of Randy Orton recently. I'd love to see Punk win. I'm a huge fan of his work. I think he's one of the best heels, if not the best heel, in the WWE right now. And I'd like to see him pull this off. However, it's WrestleMania. Randy Orton, they're building this around how can Randy Orton beat him without being able to do the punt. Well, he has the RKO. I think he hits the RKO. I think he gets the win. Moving right along, Rey Mysterio and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes I've always been a fan of, and I like the fact they're finally letting him develop into his own persona. I think he needs the win much more than Rey does on this one. I think I can honestly see Cody getting the win and building past Rey Mysterio a bit. Could I see Mysterio getting the win? Sure, but again, his matches usually, they don't get too much build-up at WrestleMania. It seems like they're kind of almost an afterthought to his weird costume that he does, and it'll be interesting to see what type of costume he does this year. With that being said, I can honestly see Cody taking this, and I think building towards that, especially if it happens the way that I'm going through the card here, with Orton getting the win over CM Punk, I could see Cody coming back getting a win for the heels at WrestleMania, who typically don't get too many wins, so there's that. Moving right along, I think at this point you got your team, what is it, the Brunette Mafia, so to speak, Snooki, Morrison, Trish against Late Cool, and Dolph. This match is just for that photo op at the end, the typical celebrity photo op. Snooks with her hands in the air, Trish, Morrison on the side. I just hope that coming out of this you get a good back and forth between Morrison and Dolph. I hope they're not an afterthought completely. So I think Brunette Mafia gets the win here, so to speak. Moving right along, I think at this point you would do the title match between Alberto Del Rio and Alberto Del Rio and Edge. That match I think is going to end up coming in with Christian getting involved, and I think Edge will end up losing the title. Alberto Del Rio, they've been kind of doing a little bit of like almost a stop-start a bit, but I do think they're pushing him. They had him win the Royal Rumble, and if you have him win the Rumble and then lose at WrestleMania, it was kind of like, what's the point? And I don't know if his character will be able to recover from that, so I'm thinking he definitely takes the title, and he kind of plays that smarmy guy. But this match could be a lot of fun. This match could be really good, especially, don't sleep on it, just because, you're not too pumped for Alberto Del Rio, you don't like the push. Both guys can go in the ring. It should be a fun match. Even though I have not been thrilled with Edge, honestly, since he's come back from his injury at Royal Rumble 2009, which I was at live, I do think this match will be a good match. I think they'll both deliver. At this point, I think you do the Hall of Fame, throw the Hall of Famers out there, get the crowd pumped, and then you come back with Rock and Miz and Cena, the Cena-Miz match. I think that goes on, believe it or not, before Cole and Lawler. I've not forgotten about that match. I think the crowd's going to get really amped for this match. They're really going to be into it. And I could see Miz hanging on. That's why I think they're going to do this match not last, because you want to end with a happy note. You want to end with the faces winning, so the crowd goes home happy. And I can honestly see the Miz keep taking the title. I think Rock's going to cost Cena the belt. I think Rock may lay out both men, which I wouldn't be too thrilled about. You want one of them to look good coming out of this. But I can see Miz keeping the belt here. Then moving along, you have Jerry Lawler versus Michael Cole. This is going to be a lot of silliness. This is going to be a fun match. I think you're going to have a couple stunners. I think Austin's going to get involved. Obviously, he's the ref. Swagger, maybe he'll get a little bit of a bump here, but I can honestly see it. One of the deals where Swagger gets involved, and he's the reason why Cole's kind of 2-on-1 until Austin will even up the odds, knock Swagger out of the ring, and then you'll get Cole finally getting a beatdown from Lawler, and who knows, maybe Eve Torres will get involved as well, even though I am not an Eve fan at all. It seems like she has to get involved based on the storyline and the way things have been going from there. Then you got the main event, and in my opinion, this match has to go on last. Triple H and The Undertaker. If you put it on like third from the top or second from the top, then you're going to run into the problems you've had in the past with Triple H and Orton closing the show at Mania 25, or even back further with Triple H and Jericho closing the show at 18. They're going to be overshadowed by this match, and this match actually has Triple H in it. This is the match that I think a lot of people are going to be there to see. Sure, The Rock will get people up for Cena-Miz if you put that last. However, I do think you're going to end with Triple H and Undertaker. Could be wrong. End of the day, I want to say Undertaker's going to win. He always wins. He keeps the streak alive. But I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to predict, and I could be predicting, and I know it's ridiculous. Every single year they want you to believe maybe this year Taker goes down. I think this is the year Taker goes down. I can see Triple H beating him. I can see Shawn coming out. And you got that happiness, both of them hands in the air, this, that, and a third. And I can see Triple H and Shawn Michaels with their hands held high after Triple H finally beats the streak. A lot of people won't like it, but I can see it happening. And then you can kind of build through for the year. Maybe Taker's not been around for a while. Finally Taker does come back. He goes after Hunter, and you can kind of do a deal where he wants to revenge that streak at WrestleMania. He wants a chance to make it right. And if he doesn't win, maybe he retires, and maybe that's your build for next year's WrestleMania. Throwing it out there, I don't know. But anyway, that's my WrestleMania prediction. Stay tuned for coverage all week long. Probably be actually next week, because I won't be updating until next week. But hope everyone enjoys WrestleMania. It's always a fun time of the year. Take it easy, everyone. Be well, and I'm glad to be back on youtube.com/Boxie12345. And be sure to follow me for coverage throughout on twitter.com/BoxyEnigma. Take it easy, be well, and enjoy WrestleMania.